It was a serious emergency. It was a crisis for wildlife, an SOS. And people all around the world wanted us to solve this problem and bring an end to this brutality. And we realized that even if this was going to take this entire lifetime, it was worth it because we would have put an end to something that was completely unacceptable.
The subcontinent of India contains one of the rarest bears on Earth. Unique in its development over millennia, yet like so many large mammals, finds itself as a sideshow attraction. For over 400 years in India, the sloth bear was targeted for human exploitation. First for the emperors, then as roadside entertainment for villagers and tourists who paid to watch the bears jump, conditioned after years of abuse by trainers. Given the ongoing legacy of cruelty, two individuals decided to stop this practice, rescue the bears still in captivity, and create a sanctuary where they can heal and live in safety for the rest of their lives. This is WildlifeSOS, the brainchild of Satyanarayan and Geeta Seshamani.
The first biggest challenge that we took on as WildlifeSOS was to address the issue of dancing bears. India was plagued with a major problem. It was a barbaric practice that started off 400 years ago, but we had these endangered sloth bears being exploited on the streets. They were used for street entertainment while they were already protected under the law since 1972.
Initially, for the first 2 years, we just did rescues till we really got into our first big project, which was the dancing bears.
Geeta and I worked tirelessly for initial 30 months, visiting village after village of a community called the Kalandars. This was a nomadic gypsy community that was actually poaching the bears, these baby bears, working with poachers in different parts of India, having the mothers killed, their body parts were harvested, and then the baby bears were then taken away and brutalized.
We lived in about 68 to 70 villages. It took a lot of restraint and self-control not to lose one's temper or to literally get into a fight with some of the people, with some of the cruelties that we saw the animals undergoing.
Using a red hot iron poker where they would put a hole through the muzzle and then a thick, coarse rope through it. And then that pain that the bear would suffer would make the bear jump in pain and of course suffering. That hopping of the bear up and down was called as dancing. And so these people would take these bears, string them out and take them on the streets across India in over 13 states. Just to eke out a living for themselves. So we started visiting each and every family, each and every community. We stayed with them. We visited over 200 villages, stayed with these people, understood what they were doing. And as we dug deeper, we found out that every single bear they had was actually poached.
It was also a long haul, making the authorities understand that if we didn't do something about the dancing bears, we would actually lose the sloth bear in the wild. The sloth bear is such a precious heritage for India. We're the only country with the sloth bears.
Traditionally, Uttar Pradesh state contains some of the largest sloth bear populations in India. But by the late 1990s, the state and the major city of Agra had become home to the greatest number of dancing bears in the country.
Not only did we have the Taj Mahal, which is one of the 7 wonders of the world, but it also had the largest number of dancing bears around the Taj Mahal and those areas. So we started working with the community over there, and we realized that it made most sense to establish a rescue and a rehabilitation center closest to the problem area, which is why we established the Agra Bear Rescue Facility, which is today the world's largest rehabilitation and conservation center for sloth bears. India's first ever bear rehabilitation center.
Each week, the staff readies dozens of meals of vitamin-enhanced porridge, eggs and fruit, to feed more than 100 bears at the facility.
This is the largest rescue center for the sloth bears in the world. We have 186 sloth bears currently that we are taking care of. And as you can imagine, that's a big, huge amount of veterinary work and the administrative and the management work.
Food is checked by the veterinary team to make sure it has the right consistency for the delicate stomachs of these formerly captive dancing bears. Bears are fed one at a time in special feeding areas where they can be watched and monitored for health concerns. These bears have a reputation for standing their ground in the wild, and attacks on unwary humans are not uncommon. You do not want to get too close to a sloth bear when it's feeding.
Hey, buddy.
Final checks are made, and the bears are left to finish their food and will be returned to the open compound. A sloth bear saved from a life as a dancing bear cannot be released back into the wild, as it hasn't developed the necessary skills to survive. Here in the enclosures, bears are given a variety of enriching experiences to stimulate their naturally curious minds and exercise their bodies. Some of the bears here, like Millie, were rescued from painful leg hold traps, and her injuries mean she will have to stay. Millie has a special story. She was caught in the wild and found to be in a troubling state. Testing would reveal she was in dire need of medical attention. Eventually, she would be transferred to WildlifeSOS for more intensive examination and rehabilitation. But the road to this success was fraught with many difficulties.
We had to learn everything from scratch. We had no money either in the bank. We had 26 bears at our doorstep, and we had less than $5,000 in our bank. It was like there was some universal energy out there, and people all around the world wanted us to solve this problem and bring an end to this brutality that was going on with these bears. The horrific behavior that they suffered and the cruelty that they suffered had to be ended.